Welcome to the show. You are one-on-one with Wesley Sports Guy here on YouTube and online all the time at wesleysportsguy.com. Make sure you subscribe and hit that Liberty Bell button to get all the latest videos on this page. And also bookmark wesleysportsguy.com. Latest posts with Week 9 review of the NFL and many others coming down the pipe as well as we get well into the NFL season, the NBA, the NHL. Oh, and by the way, Major League Baseball has a hot stove and the offseason starting as well. But before we get into everything this week, got a bit of breaking news for you here on One-on-One. Breaking news story right now is Jimmy Butler of the Minnesota Timberwolves has apparently been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers in a basically 1-for-3 player swap, and it also includes a 2022 second-round pick that the Sixers will be sending, along with Robert Covington, Jared Bayless, and Dario Saric to get Jimmy Butler from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, does this seem like a surprise to you? No, it should not, because Jimmy Butler was probably going to get traded before the season really was going to end, and even the trade deadline, it was going to happen at some point. The Minnesota Timberwolves are in the midst of a 5-game losing streak currently, and they needed to cut ties with Butler ASAP because it just is not working cohesively with the rest of that roster, and the writing was on the wall. They needed to get rid of him and get something for him, and they did. Did they get fair value for him? Absolutely not. Nowhere near what they gave up to get Jimmy Butler in the first place. Just to give you a quick refresher, they gave up Chris Dunn, a future point guard now playing for the Chicago Bulls. He's not panning out exactly for the Bulls right now because of the injury issues, but Zach LaVine is having a pretty damn good year with the Chicago Bulls, and they ended up trading him to get Jimmy Butler, who is now shipped off to Philadelphia. Oh, and also, by the way, it was a first-round pick that was included that ended up being Lauri Markkanen, who was a pretty impressive rookie last year for the Bulls out of the University of Arizona. He is hurt currently right now, but he is still a very impressive power forward for that future in Chicago. Nonetheless, Jimmy Butler is now a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. If you count sportbooks, they have decided to increase the chances and likelihood of the Philadelphia 76ers winning the NBA championship, if that matters to you. But regardless, the Sixers are definitely a little bit of a better team in the Eastern Conference. It's kind of wide open right now, although Milwaukee is still kind of the cream of the crop, along with Toronto and Boston and so on and so forth. A few other teams mixed in there, Indiana as well. But looking at it overall, Minnesota didn't get fair value. Philadelphia, hey, you got a great player in Jimmy Butler to go along with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Not bad. Time for the segment that won't play any Christmas music. It's still November. Do you remember?
You remember.
Do you remember how fun it was to see how the New York Yankees were going to basically outbid everybody when it came to the MLB offseason to get the best players on the market, whether that be in the heyday of Jason Giambi or the last time they won a World Series when they went out and spent and got Mark Teixeira, CC Sabathia, and AJ Burnett in the same offseason, ending up winning a World Series soon thereafter? Well, that time has come, and boy, there is just a lot to get through right this moment because the hot stove is starting and it is percolating, and it's going to be red hot pretty soon as we get closer and closer to the winter meetings in Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper has apparently turned down a 10-year, $300 million offer, no opt-out clause by the Washington Nationals just before the season ended. Does that surprise you? No, because he feels he can get much more money than that, and I guarantee you he's probably going to have an opt-out clause in whatever contract he decides to take, whether that be with Washington or another team. Looking at the other option out there, Manny Machado, he's going to get plenty of suitors out there as well. Is he going to get as much money as Bryce Harper? Probably not. And then looking at it from the crazy rumor perspective, Mike Trout apparently is being talked about as speculation from those pundits that just want to talk about stuff, that Mike Trout should be traded by the Angels for a package of God knows what, and that's never going to happen. So let's just throw that rumor out to the side. But again, the hot stove is percolating, and there's a lot of great players out there that are looking to get paid. And I already mentioned Harper Machado. You've also got Josh Donaldson, a former AL MVP that's available, Dallas Keuchel, a Cy Young contender in the American League for the Astros, and Craig Kimbrell's arguably the best closer on the market right now for any team that's in need of a major upgrade in their bullpen. There's quite a few out there that are needing a really good closer, I should say, a perennial Hall of Famer. You could make the argument for Craig Kimbrell. I'm not going to say he is at this point in time, but he's definitely the best one available. So there's plenty of options out there, as well as trades. I mean, we can't ignore that fact. I mean, the Cleveland Indians are a team that could be trading one or two of their perennial starters that they have right now to get a lot of good players to continue the future going for that franchise and keep it in competition going forward, because you can't pay all those players exactly what they want, and that's how the Indians have been able to have a recent run of success. They have a lot of good young players, and they're able to control them for a long time, sell them off when they're at their peak, and then continue to keep winning. And that's the tradition that most teams have to go with if they want to continue to have success in the major leagues. You do have some other, high-priced franchises with the New York Yankees going out there, as well as the Boston Red Sox. They're going to be, major players in the free agent market as well. But, there's a few other teams as well, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the list can continue to go on and on and on. But it's going to be interesting to watch. So you're going to have to stay tuned here and go to westernsportsguy.com to get plenty of updates as we get closer and closer to the GM meetings. Actually, the GM meetings has already pretty much happened in California. That's basically a preemptive to the winter meetings is what I meant to say. The winter meetings, make sure you bookmark westernsportsguy.com. And for my feel-good story of the week, just real quick and brief, basically we're going into Veterans Day weekend. I'd like to say thank you to all those men and women that are serving, have served, continue to serve this great nation. For anybody that wants to know, what can you do to support veterans? Well, not just this weekend, but every day of the year, no matter what. Thank them. When you see a veteran and you feel a little uncomfortable doing it, just go ahead and say thank you. Thank them for their service. Simple gesture. If you want to take it a step further, if they're out and about at a restaurant, whatever it may be, offer to pay their meal. That's not a bad idea either. But if you also want to go a different route, not so much in the public eye, you can obviously make a donation to many great veterans charities that are out there. Just to name a few, Fisher House is one of them, Wounded Warriors, just to name a few. There's a lot of great veterans charities out there. You could also go visit your local VA. It's not a bad idea either, because they need all the support that they can get. And this day and age, you need to pick me up, and that's a good way to do it. To just when you see a veteran, thank them for their service. It's a very nice gesture, and it's not just for this weekend or for one day out of the year. It's 365, 24/7, every day of every year. I thank you for your service, and I salute you. Thank you for tuning in this week for One-on-One with Wes the Sports Guy. I am yours truly. Make sure you subscribe and hit that Liberty Bell button, and bookmark westernsportsguy.com for many more posts and updates in the very near future. Until then, I will see you next time.